Well, and Vince, I'll go to you on this first. Drew Allar, came in with a lot of hype, talking about quarterbacks, talking about really good offensive players. I think a lot of people look at Drew Allar as, the potential's there, but he really held back the offense at times last year. Uh, what's your read on his progression? Do you think he's poised for a breakout year this year?
I think he could do better, but I think the play calling needs to improve. Like, I would really like to see Penn State play the way Michigan does a little bit more. You have two stud running backs and Katron Allen, Nick Singleton. We got a third guy, Quentin Martin, true freshman, looks the part of to be the next stud running back for Penn State. You got a good offensive line. The offensive line is a little bit better in run blocking as opposed to pass protection. They're pretty good at both, but definitely a team that statistically you look at their yards per carry does really well. However, for whatever reason last year, very low percentage of the play calls. And I think if we can, try to, wear other teams down like Michigan does, I think that's going to make things easier. And I think Penn State should utilize him more like Michigan did with JJ McCarthy. And if you look at his, turnover ratio, which is one of the most important statistics in college football, he takes care of the football. He set an NCAA record without throwing an interception. Like, he doesn't suck, but he takes care of the football, which is great. He's a really great game manager. But when it comes to, taking those risks, he's not slinging it down the field like Trace McSorley is. He's got a different playing style, but you can win with that style. You can win with the guy who takes care of the football and is smart and intelligent. He's strong. He can run the ball if he needs to. He can do a lot of things, and he can lead Penn State to winning football. I think play calling could go a long way in helping Drew Allar and his development. And especially if Kotelnicki does a good job. I know it can be really difficult, as a player, if you're getting new coaches every year. So that's going to be a challenge he does have to overcome. But if they have a good relationship, I'm optimistic that Drew can have a good season with some good play calling.
Yeah, Andrew, do you have any additional thoughts to that one?
I would agree with a lot of what Vince said. I think that he was far from perfect, but he definitely showed flashes of what you'd want to see from your 5-star quarterback, that high touchdown to turnover rate, pretty decent completion rate overall. The one thing that I think is really interesting about his prospects for this year, pairing with Kotelnicki, is that he struggled at times in play action last year, and that's something that Kansas did a lot to great effect. So I think it's going to be a very interesting thing to see early on in the season, whether this is going to be something that Kotelnicki is going to help Drew improve on, just being comfortable in play action, kind of seeing things maybe a bit better, like from a defensive read standpoint, or if Kotelnicki is going to have to shift his philosophy a little bit, maybe play to Drew's strengths a little bit more, because when you look at the tape, where Drew was really successful was when he was not in play action and going through his progression on the flat, crossing routes, and on out routes. He didn't really look towards the go route too often, which was kind of a point of contention with Penn State fans kind of partway through the season. Like, it just basically was like they were never going deep, even though he had a cannon of an arm. So that, maybe that's something that they're going to look to possibly improve upon. And I think this is just going to come with experience too. But, when he had a clean pocket and he felt comfortable, he was very effective. But when even though he at times he would have a clean pocket, he would feel the pressure of that internal clock start to tick a little bit more, and he would suddenly leave the pocket, even though he's got, a crossing wide receiver, open for a big play. And that's not to, absolve the wide receivers, because those opportunities were too far and in between for Penn State offensively last season. But, all that is to say, I think the potential is definitely there. I think it's a mixture of the mental side of things. I think he's got the right support system around him with quarterback coach Danny O'Brien, and with Kotelnicki bringing some of his unique, experiences and like what he's been really good at offensively during the course of his career. I think the potential's there, and it really just kind of comes down to Drew.